We need to talk about what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Dallas Cowboys are close to poaching a key player from the Minnesota Vikings roster. Anthony Barr's reunion with the Minnesota Vikings is 3 weeks old, but there now may be competition for his services after the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in their pursuit of linebacker Shaq Leonard. With Leonard signing with the Eagles on Monday, the Cowboys may still be looking to fill a hole at linebacker with the loss of Leighton Vander Esch for the season, and Barr's name popped up Monday. Name I heard was Anthony Barr, Brian Broaddus wrote on X in response to a question about what the Cowboys will do after losing out on Leonard. Barr played 14 games with Dallas last season and totaled 58 tackles, 1 sack, and a pair of fumble recoveries. He was a free agent this season until signing on to the Vikings practice squad 3 weeks ago. He's been active for the last 2 games, but he currently is part of the practice squad. If Dallas or any other team wants, they can put in a claim for Barr. If that happens, the only way the Vikings can avoid losing him is by activating him to the 53-man roster. Minnesota signed Barr after inside linebacker Jordan Hicks underwent emergency surgery for a shin injury and was subsequently placed on injured reserve. While Hicks says he's looking forward to playing again, there has been no timetable announced for his return this season. That leaves the inside linebacker spots to rookie Ivan Pace Jr., Brian Asamoah Tatu, and Troy Dye. In Week 12 against the Bears, Pace was on the field for 66 snaps, compared to 26 for Dye and 13 for Barr. Asamoah was active but didn't play. If the Cowboys come calling, the Vikings have a big decision to make. On Monday, the Eagles officially announced they had agreed to terms with former All-Pro linebacker Shaquille Leonard. Leonard visited the Eagles a week earlier and was also considering the Birds' biggest rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. Due to Zach Cunningham's and Nakobe Dean's injuries, the Eagles were in need of help at linebacker, especially after a poor defensive performance against the 49ers that resulted in a 42-19 loss. After an aggressive push from both teams, Leonard chose to join the Eagles. On Dallas radio Tuesday, ahead of Sunday's game against the Birds, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones spoke about why he believes Leonard chose to come to Philadelphia. Certainly, on an individual basis, I wish him the best, Jones said. He deserves that. He's had a very distinguished career. There was absolutely never any money mentioned. I met with him, had lunch with him, and had a good visit with him, but there was never a financial issue at all. So, that wasn't the case in any way. He apparently wanted to go where he thought he had the best chance. I certainly recognize and honor his decision there. Jones went on to say he was unsure if the opportunity for playing time he could earn from the Eagles was similar to the playing time he would have the opportunity to earn in Dallas. Jones also alluded to uncertainty over the fit for Leonard on the Cowboys roster given the personnel Dallas has on defense already. One of the things that he would do is, when you bring a player in at any position, if you have players that you really want to keep active and stay involved with at that position, then you deactivate somebody at another position, Jones said. It's always a squeeze when you're in the season as to who's going to be active on Sunday and who's not. That has a lot to do with where you're trying to bolster up personnel for a game or against a particular opponent. These things don't automatically have the fit that you say, oh my God, that can help the Cowboys, get him, even if it helps a little bit. Jones said the Cowboys expect to see Leonard on the field against them on Sunday. The second story is Dan Quinn warns opponents not to target Dallas Cowboys CB Darren Bland. Dallas Cowboys cornerback Darren Bland has cemented himself into the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year with his record-setting performance this season. On Thanksgiving, he set the single-season record for pick sixes in a season, introducing himself to the nation on the biggest stage of the regular season. A week later, the Cowboys would once again play on Thursday and, unsurprisingly, in front of the masses. This time, it didn't go so well. Bland was targeted on Seahawks receiver DK Metcalf's 73-yard touchdown in which he took a slant to the house. Seattle continued to go at him. In the first half, Bland was targeted 6 times for 5 catches, 137 yards, and a score. It was arguably his worst performance of the season. The Los Angeles Chargers gave him some trouble too. Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn made the requisite adjustment at halftime, putting veteran corner Stephon Gilmore on the 6-3 Giant. Gilmore followed him around Jerry World for most of the second half rather than sticking to his side of the field as the Cowboys generally operate. Metcalf finished his day with 6 catches for 134 yards and 3 scores, but Dallas had the last laugh, winning 41-35 on a clutch defensive stop and an MVP-like performance from quarterback Dak Prescott. On Monday, Quinn responded to questions about Bland's coverage abilities and if teams would target him more like the Seahawks did. "If they do, they'd better be careful," Quinn said. He has a point. Bland is the league leader in interceptions for a reason. He even took one away from Seahawks passer Geno Smith on Thursday and dropped another on 4th down. Only Chicago Bears cornerback Jalen Johnson has graded out better in coverage per Pro Football Focus. Johnson and Cleveland Browns corner Martin Emerson Jr. are the only ones with a worse passer rating when targeted. Bland's proclivity for creating turnovers has rendered him a force to be reckoned with, and when he's on the kind of tear he has been this season, it's probably best to look elsewhere. No one has been better at taking the football away, more than compensating for any half-long lapses in sticky coverage. In Week 14, Bland will get a similarly tough task. Philadelphia Eagles receivers A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Their willingness to attack Bland, especially downfield, will be a measuring stick for the respect his interceptions have earned him, with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles getting hammered 42-19 at home against the San Francisco 49ers. A high-level NFL agent with a few lucrative quarterback contracts on his resume saw a winner that wasn't even on the field Sunday. "Good day for Dak Prescott," he texted. As much as it could have been a reference to the Dallas Cowboys pulling closer to their NFC East rivals in the standings, it was really a text about future contract negotiations. The Cowboys and Eagles will play each other next week in Dallas, just as Hurts and Prescott creep a little closer to each other in an MVP race that the Eagles quarterback has led much of this season. But coming into the home stretch, it's Prescott who is trending upward, playing arguably the best football of his career and emerging as a fast-closing number 2 to Hurts in the betting odds for NFL MVP. If that momentum continues, it's going to weigh significantly for the Cowboys at the negotiating table. In a scenario that has given Prescott all the leverage in the world with a contract that expires after the 2024 season and includes no trade and no franchise tag clauses, he's now touching his ceiling on the field, if not raising it. And the result is the definition of perfect timing for an NFL player. Prescott is playing at an MVP level. In order to get extensions done with other core players, the Cowboys need to sign him to an extension in the offseason to lower his $59.45 million salary cap charge. And by staying patient and not pursuing an extension last offseason, Prescott allowed 4 other massively significant quarterback contract extensions to get nailed down. Hurts, Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens, Justin Herbert with the Los Angeles Chargers, and Joe Burrow with the Cincinnati Bengals. That means when the offseason begins in a few months, the 2 biggest quarterback negotiations on deck will be Prescott and the Jacksonville Jaguars' Trevor Lawrence. If Prescott is coming off an MVP season, and if the Cowboys have some accompanying playoff success, it could be the most perfect quarterback contract storm since Joe Flacco entered extension negotiations with the Ravens after winning a Super Bowl. The third story is DeMarcus Lawrence will be Dallas Cowboys' Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. On ESPN's Monday Night Football, former Dallas Cowboys QB and NFL Hall of Fame member Troy Aikman announced that current Cowboys DE DeMarcus Lawrence will be the team's nominee for the 2023 Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Aikman is a former winner of this award in 1997, as was Roger Staubach in 1978 and Dak Prescott last year. Jason Witten is the only non-Cowboys QB to win the award, 2012, meaning Lawrence has a chance to be their first defensive player recognized and first defender overall since 2019. At 31 years old, Lawrence continues to be an irreplaceable member of Dan Quinn's defense with a knack for making clutch plays. Lawrence being one of the best run defenders in the NFL is nothing new, but his consistency in this area while the Cowboys have worked through injuries at linebacker and in the secondary continues to set the tone for Dallas up front, making a key 4th down stop in their most recent win versus the Seahawks. The Walter Payton Man of the Year award doesn't just consider the on-field leadership that players like Prescott and Lawrence provide, but also charitable work off the field where Lawrence has been active in the DFW area. If Lawrence does win the award, it will be the first time players from the same team have won it since 1972 to 73, the third and fourth year of the award. Willie Lanier and Len Dawson were both with the Chiefs when they won. With Lawrence showing no sign of slowing down, the Cowboys could also have two active winners of the award playing together for multiple seasons. All 32 teams' nominees for this prestigious award will be announced on Tuesday, as the Cowboys turn their attention to their biggest primetime game of the season on Sunday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys have looked like one of the best teams in the NFL over the past several weeks, and there has been some talk that head coach Mike McCarthy could lose his job if that does not continue into the postseason.